Okay, hello everyone. So today I'm doing a video in my How to Trade in Webkinz series, and we're doing rares today, which are a little bit of a simpler topic than some of the others, but I thought it would be a good way to continue this series because it's been so long. So I'm on the Webkinz guide page for rares, and I thought I'd just kind of go through it and talk about it. So there are a number of different themes for rare items in Webkinz World. So there's the no theme items, which are just kind of random. They don't really go with anything, but they are considered rare. And rare means that it's sold by Artie at the Curio shop, and usually they're a little bit more expensive than normal items. And true rare items, they're available like either one item is available a day or like up to 2 to 3 to 4. And it's available, changes by the hour. So you can ask Artie and get to know him, and that's how you can find out when rares are available. So these are some of the different rare items that are currently available. So this is the Ancient Civilization. Art Deco is the newest theme, and it's also the cheapest theme. We have the Diner, the Enchanted Train Station. So this goes with another theme. Ichiban, Medieval is a big one. Movie Magic, which is the colossal movie screen, which I believe is the most expensive item in the Curio shop. Rare themes. Neo Gothic, another cheap one. Palace Princess, also on the cheaper side. Persian, Superhero, Stone Age, Victorian Garden, Whimsical Wonderland. And then we get into retired rares. So I guess we'll start with retired rares as the most rare. So we have three, four different themes. So the first is a themeless one. This is the Delicate Swan Bed. Then we have Aztec, then we have Egyptian, and then we have Kooky Scientist. So the items that are most rare are going to be the retired ones because they are no longer available via Curio Shop and Artie. However, a lot of these items have been available in challenges, wheels, or random prize giveaways. So for example, Experiment Station 1 is a challenge prize, same with Geographic Globe, the Robo Handy Table, Ultimate Experiment Station, Formula Blackboard are all available in current challenges. So those are not super rare. However, you can keep in mind like they are only like an account can only get it once via that challenge, but like every account can get it. Similarly, I'm pretty sure the Egyptian wallpaper and flooring are available in a challenge. I think Egyptian vase is available on a challenge. I think the golden bureau has been available in a challenge. That one's more rare, but still less rare. And the golden hippo fridge is available in a challenge. I'm not sure which of these is available in challenges. It might be like Aztec calendar, stuff like this. It might be more available, but these I see a lot more common than the other items. I would say the rarest out of all of these is probably the Delicate Swan Bed. And another way you can kind of understand how rare things are you look at last available. So this was last available in 2010. We'll go through some of the others. So the Aztec theme seemed to have retired in 2023 March, which is the more recent one. The Egyptian theme seemed to retire in 2012. And then a lot of them have been available in different ways, so you can kind of keep that in mind. And then the Kooky Scientist was the first to retire, so that is 2010 April. So just keeping that in mind, the rarest of these retired are going to be the Kooky Scientist, which of the items that are not currently available. So like Incubation Chamber, the Opus Sofa, Manic Monitor, Thoughtful Think Tank, Dreamometer Bed, Interstellar Telescope, things like that. And then the Egyptian, then the Aztec. The Delicate Swan Bed is kind of interesting because I think this is also one of the rarer items, but it was pretty cheap compared to the other ones. So we're going to kind of care about the Kins Cash cost of these items, especially once we get into regular like valuation of rare items, so I'm gonna just look at it because usually Kin's Cash is like kind of negligible, but with rare items it can get up there. Like the Butt of the Pharaoh was 12,500 Kin's Cash. But I guess the earlier themes were pretty cheap, so let's just leave it at that and say the other typical things apply. So just it kind of matters on what you see in the trade rooms a lot. So as I said, I see a lot of the Aztec fire pit stuff, but like an item I don't see often from the Aztec stuff is the tribal totem. So that's kind of relevance there. Here I don't really see ever the Sacred Scribe desk, Royal Banquet table, Grand Egyptian column, Elegant Egyptian vanity. Like some of these have stayed very rare. I do see the beds a lot, I think just because beds tend to get bought. I have multiple of the beds. Kooky Scientist, I like never see Interstellar Telescope, Experiment Station, 3 or 4, Thoughtful Think Tank. A lot of these have been available in other ways, but those are the rarest. So in terms of what I think are fair to trade for these, I think like retired rare for retired rare makes sense. Maybe some holiday items that haven't been available are fairly tradable, but these can get pretty valuable. So I would say like hold on to the truly rare retired items. The Aztec ones are less valuable. You could trade that for like um, a more recent holiday item, but I would say a bigger ticket one rather than like a accessory, but just things to keep in mind. So we are now going to go into regular rares. This is something that I have a hot take on. So I do not think regular rare items are worth anything. I personally will not trade for rare items because to me, I can buy all of these if I want, and I'm on Webkinz enough that I encounter most of the rare items, fairly often. If I was maybe making a room that required them, I would be a little more interested in trading for them, but even then, I just don't think they're worth anything more than the Kin's Cash you pay for them. So in terms of what I would trade for rare items, I'd only ever do rare for rare, and the thing is, I don't care about rare items enough to want to do that, and I don't think most people in the trade rooms want to do that. So yeah, I would say in terms of value, I think this is where you get into Kin's Cash valuation. So I'm just going to go to the item guide section. We can go through and just point out, I think the more expensive it is, the more people want it. So this is not how I will navigate it, but I know a lot of people really like some of those items. So for example, the in-home bowling alley is $10,000 Kin's Cash. So that is, a higher demand one. Ancient Civilization has the Emperor's Bed is 11,100. Art Deco is really cheap and really new, so I think people are interested in it in that it's new, but it's really, really cheap. Like almost anyone could afford this, so this one I don't see a ton of value in the trade room. Let's see. Movie Magic, 40,000 KC, that one is pretty in demand just because people love a big flat screen, and I totally agree that one's fun to get for the first time. The Persian theme has some more expensive ones, so the Violet Persian rug is 10,800, which is kind of crazy. And then the Magnificent Iwan Rest Bed is 12,550, so those would be probably some of the more valuable ones, just based on how expensive they are. I will say a lot of these are available in challenges, so a lot of people have them. I think like the Ace of Clubs divider, like everybody has via challenge. I think the Elegant Victoria Fountain is a challenge item, so again, a lot of people have that. Yeah, just things to keep in mind, like a lot of these are available. I think for people who are new to trading, I see these a lot in the trade room, but this is something where like I will honestly exit a trade if people are just putting up rare item after rare item, because it's just not something I'm interested in, and I think the more experienced you are and the more items you have, like this is just not something I would ever trade anything for. Like I would really maybe only trade like W Shop for this, and I know that that is not a trade anyone would want, so yeah. I think this is a really good way to get into trading because it's accessible via Kin's Cash, but I don't find this to be super valuable. So the other thing I want to bring up for rare items, this is kind of an interesting one. It's going to be the Curio shop only items. So we have some items that are available at the Curio shop that are not rares, and they are not at the W shop. So I'm trying to find the best example. I think we'll have to go to, we're going through all the pages now, but I think this is like the best way to do it. I love Webkinz Guide. I highly recommend it. So we're going to do Curio Shop only. So this is where you get things like the Loader Lounger, you get Queen Marie's periwig, just like fun little things. And the newest additions are the Webkinz Gown of Wonder, Scepter of Wonder, and Webkinz Throne of Wonder. So there are also some themes in here. So we have the Atlantis theme, automotive theme, baseball theme, Bloomin' theme, cat theme. I don't know if this actually is Curio Shop only. I suppose it is. It's under there. I don't really think it is, but yeah, classic gaming theme, dog theme, farm theme, fast food theme, green leaf theme, the OG kids theme, some kooky scientist themed items, some medieval theme items, pirate theme, polka dots and stripes, pop diva, rock and roll, space theme, superhero theme, and sweets and treats theme. So these are things that are going to be available at the Curio shop and they cycle through as well. However, they are not going to be like marked rare, or when you ask RD like when is a rare item coming in, it's never going to be these, and these are usually like former W shop themes. Not all of them are, but a lot of them are. So you can't buy them in the W shop. And they're W shop prices, so they're pretty cheap. So just looking through, none of these are going to be that expensive. Some of them like more expensive, but it's really like equivalent to a W shop theme, and they have been available for a long time. The cat theme is like the OG one. I remember when I first started, I was like obsessed with it because I loved cats, but been around for so long now, and they cycle through a lot. There's a lot of items here, but I don't know, they're available a lot. So this is another thing that I see a lot in the trade rooms when people are new to trading, and these to me are also pretty worthless. I don't know like what the rationale is for trading these items because they really are like available a lot, but I don't know, people trade these a lot. So this is another thing where if I start seeing like only this sort of stuff put up, I will just leave because I have bought everything I'm interested in from these. The only things that I would actually point out as of relevance are going to be the Webkinz Gown of Wonder, Scepter of Wonder, and Throne of Wonder, and then a couple more items, but the reason these are of note are because these are 250 KC, 500, and 1 million. So these are super, super expensive and just going to be like that is the amount of Kin's Cash that I do think is not achievable for most players. Like I actually don't think I've ever had that much Kin's Cash, and that's okay with me. But I'm not super interested in those items, so I'm not really interested in trading. Especially because I don't think it's like a, to me this is the reason it's valuable is because of Kin's Cash, not because of like innate value, and I don't want to trade something that's like valuable because it hasn't been available in a long time for something that you can buy with Kin's Cash. That's just like a principle of mine. So those are kind of in demand just because I feel like of what they represent, but I don't really know what you would trade for them. I think like it's not something that has a commonly shared value. Like I think if you put that up, like I'm not sure what people would find to be equal to it because I wouldn't trade anything super valuable for that. But if Kin's Cash is like what you hold most dear in the game, then I don't know, maybe that would be a really valuable item. I don't think so, but who knows. the other thing I want to point out is a couple retired items. So this is the vampire wig, which is retired. I actually like wanted to trade for this so badly, it took so long, but this was retired at some point. I don't think it says when it was retired, but it looks like it was actually available in a floaty clicky, which kind of bums me out because I like love having that item. I think it's so cool and just like such a random like item that I don't think people realize is retired often, but I don't know, it was one of the ones I was really excited to get. So that's retired, that's gonna be rare. I think like you could probably trade that for old holiday clothing, not like priceless clothing, but older holiday clothing, other retired items. You have to have the right trader who understands its value, and given it was just available in a floaty clicky, just is a little bold because that's now 7 years ago, but you know what I mean. And then I saw down here this Cookie Scientist theme, like that screwy lamp has been like one of the retired items like back in 2010s, so probably could be something that you just trade for other retired rare items. However, it is also available in the deluxe prize machine, so might be a little more valuable than before, but I don't see it a lot. And yeah, I think that's kind of the majority of the items. But the reason this is like a video I wanted to do is because I just don't think, I think this is a part of trading that new players kind of overestimate a lot. Like I see people put together trade lists, like listing out every single Bloomin' item theme they have, and there's very few items in these that are like actually of value. If you can buy it currently at the Curio shop and it is like not one of the like top 10 most expensive items in the rares, I don't think it's something that is super valuable to people. I think that's different for everyone, and I think that's me, like my experience as a longtime player, kind of coming out and shooting things down. So definitely feel free to ignore that if that's that's what you want to trade for. But the reason I say it is that I think these items are best traded for each other. So if you are putting these up in the trade rooms, I'd be surprised if you would ever get anybody who is willing to trade like items that are not this caliber for it. And to me, that's like a really quick way to like just end a trade because it's not really fun anymore. I don't want to trade for them, even for items like it, because it's like I have all of these. So yeah, just something to keep in mind. I think it's a really fun way to start because it's something you can buy and kind of have and throw up there and see how it goes. But I don't know if it is something that will really get you into much more valuable items. So yeah, I think buy these and collect them if they're things you really want. Like don't just buy them because it's like, oh my god, this is a rare item, because no, like not all of this is rare items. But yeah, that is going to be it for this video. I feel like this one was a bit more like negative. But that's just because this is not my favorite items to trade. I think they're really cool items and I love having them, and I think they have a really broad availability of rare items. And I used to really get excited about them, but I think now with like so many players who play more often, make more money, like as you get older in the game, like you're just better at making money and like understanding how it works, it's less fun to trade with. But yeah, I would say the same principles apply. Like the longer it hasn't been available, the more expensive it is. If it's like a vehicle or something really cool, like you will get people who are more interested beyond just values, but otherwise this is not going to be, I think, something that you really trade beyond the category for, so it's kind of within the category. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of this, if you agree with those, and just kind of like what value the way you trade rare items. It's usually something I have for people who are like only interested in trading for rare items. I'll have some available, but it's never something I will try and like acquire via trade. But yeah, hopefully that was interesting. Thank you to Webkinz Guide as always. This is the best site ever for looking at this stuff, and I appreciate it so much. But yeah, that's all for today and in this installation of how to trade. So see you guys next time. Bye bye.